Welcome, rulers of the matrix. In this video, I'm going to tell you how I manifested a father for my son and a husband in one 9 years ago without knowing about manifestation. I was not a spiritual person and I didn't really believe in anything specific. My mom and dad both had different religions they were raised in, so I grew up confused about what to truly believe. I also didn't believe much in prayer because there was only a few times my prayers were answered. So I just want to make it clear about how much resistance I had to what I was asking for. But I was so desperate. I wanted to get my son far away from all I had grown up around, and the only one I knew who could make it happen, if my prayer was answered, was God. So I made a list of what I wanted in my partner in my head, and I made it so unattainable because I was tired of settling for men that came my way thinking they could be the one. So if my prayer came true, which I thought was impossible, I would know that I wouldn't get hurt like the previous men did to me. On my list of things he had to have was he had to love my son like it was his own and as much as I loved my baby. He had to be smart so he could help my son out with homework. He had to have many talents and a good job to take care of me and my son so I could be a stay-at-home mom because I just wanted to spend my every moment with him and raise him. One of the big requirements on my list was I wanted to meet a man who could take me away from my living situation and far away from my family. I do love my family, but I couldn't cope with the mindset. I wanted my son to have a fresh start and far away from the way I grew up, and to protect him from anything that had to do with my old life, the mentality of my family's ways of raising children, how we grew up, and how kids were treated or seen as below adults. Interesting about that though is even when my wish came true and I had moved away, I realized I had taken my family's ways with me because that's how I was raised and trained. I thought moving away would change that for him, but I didn't know how to change that within me, or even if I could. Anyways, back to the list. He couldn't have any ex-girlfriends or be with anyone before me. Yes, I was quite ready to be with a man who was a virgin because I was really traumatized from my past and super insecure that I couldn't deal with my own mind if I had known the man I was going to be with had been with anyone before me. I was really afraid of, him leaving me for his past or something. Again, this was all 9 years ago, possibly even longer. I am not at all the same person. I didn't focus too much on looks, but I did want him to have a nice body. I wanted him to be a nice guy and crazy about me in every way. The most important on my list was getting my son the best healthcare possible. This man I was praying for, I wanted his family to love me and my son. I'm sure there was much more things on my list because, like I said, I wanted to make it really unattainable. But I want to get into the resistance I had and how long it took for this to manifest. I had said the prayer and I was really just in reflection mode about what I wanted, and my mind would try to figure out the how. I wanted to find like the right doctors. I just wanted this all in one. So every day this was on my mind about my son, and I couldn't think about anything else. He was only in kindergarten at the time, but I was so worried about the future and his health issue. After all the reflection and thinking about my list, I decided to stop dating and settling. I went into wait mode for this perfect husband and father for my son. I didn't even believe existed. It wasn't even possible. And I assumed it wasn't coming because I knew I wasn't deserving at that time of what I was asking for. So I knew I had to become worthy and deserving by getting ready. I just continued my daily life and still worrying about the same things while waiting for the weekends to spend my every moment with my kid and do fun things together. I kept myself occupied. When I had extra time, I was playing a poker game on my phone that I downloaded out of the blue. Or was it out of the blue? Because that is where I actually met my future husband. He thought I was funny and added me. The whole process was very slow, starting out, playing together, chats, meeting on the game every day, then emails, becoming friends, and just progressing from there. I thought we would never be together or have a chance because he was across the world from me, so I only saw him as a friend. Little did I know he was interested, but very shy. Funny enough, I thought it was my idea to make him fall in love with me and take me away, but it was my manifestation showing up. It all fell together and there was nothing I could do to sabotage it. I know because I tried several times. There was even once he accidentally sent me a photo of some woman. I was really upset. I didn't talk to him for a week, but something made me forgive him. If you remember that I said earlier the guy on my list couldn't have been with any women before me, so when that happened, I thought he couldn't be the one. He had also told me previously, as we were getting to know each other, that he had two ex girlfriends and lost his virginity as a teen. So I still didn't think he was my person, and that getting that photo was like even more confirmation. But when I stopped talking to him for that week, he wanted to tell me something. He had to admit to me the truth. That's when everything made sense. He was such a shy person that he has never been with another woman. The photo of the woman was a lady he was talking to before me, but he never actually met her in person and she went back to her ex boyfriend. He admitted he'd never had a girlfriend and was still a virgin. He was just really shy and embarrassed about that. That is when I realized it was possible he was the one I prayed for, and I was in shock. I couldn't believe this good looking man with a great body and so much going for him was such a shy guy. Remember when I said he had to be smart to help teach my son? Well, he had graduated with high honors from a top school and was even given a special award by his state government. So all of this took about 7 to 8 months for him to show up. But it could have been sooner because we could have already been connected on the app. I just didn't know he was my manifestation. And it had to unfold for me in a natural way. Otherwise, if it had been too weird for me, I would have totally rejected it. It didn't take long for us to decide we wanted to be together after I forgave him for that whole picture sending ordeal. And he would never move to my country because he had already had his job and his life set up. It was actually much easier for me and my son to go to him. So if you remember, I was praying to take my son away from everything, any bad influences from my previous life, from my family's mindset and everything. I just had no idea how that would ever happen. And it actually came through him. So we married and all moved to Germany. I was the happiest mother in the world. I knew that German doctors could heal my son and get to the core of what was going on with him. So as soon as we moved to Germany, we got under my husband's insurance at the time, and as fast as we could, we were sent to the children's hospital where they monitored for him. They monitored him for a week, and we were able to stay with him as well that whole time. And they finally figured out what was going on, gave us the proper medicines, and he was pretty much fully healed within that year, and he was a normal, happy kid again. I was the most grateful mother and just feeling so lucky and blessed. I also was able to see a new way of parenting as Germans parent differently than I was raised. So I manifested the safest place, amazing healthcare, and the best and most normal childhood for my son. And this was my list. I also made sure to keep telling myself he's going to turn out like his dad. He's going to be so smart. He's going to be successful and do great things with his life. His friends are good influences. He is the example. He's always safe and careful and makes good decisions. He is the perfect kid. So this is how I manifested it all 9 years ago until I set another intention that changed my life and led to my spiritual awakening. That was when I still didn't know about manifestation. I still wasn't spiritual, but I decided to find God for myself and meet my true love. The perfect person for me were my words, and they both came true at the same time. But that is another story. I know how important these manifestation stories can be. I used to read them too, to show myself that if they can do it, even without knowing about manifestation and how it all works, and they still got their wish, then it will be even easier for me. But it wasn't always easy. In fact, moment to moment, you could be met with resistance and doubt. But just keep affirming that you have it already. Live your life and enjoy the moment. When you think of your desire, enjoy already having it. And if you don't know what that feels like, then you need to spend more time in meditation, visualizing, or having conversations with your SP as if it's already happening. Practice this until it becomes a normal feeling that they are with you and choosing you, that you already have them, and it's a normal thing. Do it until you feel satisfied, and do it every day. Many people get confused about how to affirm, how they should do it. What I did 9 years ago was I got ready for it. I became someone who was worthy of what I was asking for. By changing my ways, who I was being, I tried to change the way I was thinking, although I didn't get very far with that. So I tried to do all the other things, like I would work out, I wanted to get more in shape for my person, I did my makeup, I took care of myself, I did my hair, I tried to be the best mother I could. So I did take action on the things I knew I could improve. But now I affirm like I already have it. And I enjoy my person, or I talk to them metaphysically, which is how I manifested him to ask me to come to his country and be with him. If you are interested in other specific person's manifestation stories, I have those stories about how I manifested specific people while still asleep in the matrix, not knowing about how everything works, and also when I manifested specific people after my awakening, how it all came true, what they were thinking, what they went through on their side. If you want to hear those stories, let me know in the comments, and I will come out with more videos explaining how I did it. So thank you all for hanging out with me during this story time, and see you next time.